So we've woken up and had a quick breakfast, so now we're headed over to Nuremberg Castle.
Does that say dim sum?
Once we get to the castle and the picturesque street, then we'll touch base. Alright, so we've made it to, I guess, part of the old town, and we had to drive in through the castle gate type of dealio, which was kind of cool. And it is a touch too early. Yeah, this area doesn't seem to be awake yet, but we are in the heart of Nuremberg, it seems. We had to drive through Castle Gate, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We'll check in a bit once we figure out what direction we're going. Alright. So, after much park finding, because we had to find a place to park our car, we have made it to the castle. Now we're headed up to it. It's quite large from the outside, so it's quite nice.
Alright. Hello and welcome to day 3 of our trips. We're in Nuremberg. We woke up early this morning and had just a slight breakfast at the hostel, doing whatever we wanted to, or eating whatever we had available to us. And what we ended up doing was, after eating breakfast, we went to Garber-Strasse, which is this famous street here in Nuremberg that's actually known for being in like movies and stuff. So we went to go check it out and took some photos of it when we went. It's actually pretty empty because it was quite early in the morning. I believe we got there at about 9 o'clock and nothing there was even open yet. Everything either opens like 10:30ish, it seemed. And so we chilled around there, took some photos, like I said, walked around, and then we went to Nuremberg Castle. Nuremberg Castle is simply amazing. They had all this history of how the emperor used to live there, or the emperor of Germany. I don't really understand how that works, the emperor of Germany as appointed by the Roman, like the Roman group. So, but anyhow, the castle is exactly as you would think a castle should be. They had all the towers and spires, and it was a very, very intricate place where you could learn so much info about the knights' shining armor type of stuff, like swords and armor, as well as kind of just how their lifestyle was and what the rooms were for, how they had a chapel in this one. And they also had this really interesting kind of well that, you know, I'll just make it its own separate video. It's like a 15-minute cut of how they could pour water into a well, and before you could finish or before you could hear any sounds, it would pour the entire jug out. The guy did it twice, so it was pretty amazing. So I'm just trying to think. Oh, they also went into early like gun and firearms at the place. That was pretty amazing. And different type of weapons like halberds and different types of swords. That was pretty amazing. And it's just, it was a real good walk around. Now everything is in German there, so not that I'm expecting anything else, but it was really hard to kind of understand some items. Like for example, that 15-minute video about the water pouring, that's all in German, but you can understand by what he's doing in his body language what the whole idea was. And then after that, we went to go get lunch at a bratwurst house, or a sausage. It was bratwurst house, okay. And we went down and back to the Garber-Strasse street, and then walked all the way to the place, which wasn't that far. It was just downtown, so it wasn't that bad to go do. And then kind of one of the interesting points there was while we were there, we noticed that there was a German Christmas market. So we went into that area, and Mom was interested in a Baumkuchen, I believe. That's the Japanese name for it, I think. But it's this like circle bread that's made over an open flame fire, like a wood fire, which that's pretty amazing. It's a slight dessert. I like to describe it as kind of like a pancake that was cooked over a fire. But that was delicious. We also went into the nearby church to the market with the stained glass windows, and that was pretty amazing as well. Not so comfortable walking into these churches and filming and photographing, so not too much was done there. And then finally, we're here at the documentation of the Nazi rally center. And here in Nuremberg, it's where the famous Hitler speech was made with like 100,000 people or something like that. It's the famous video that everybody always sees. So we're here to kind of check out some history and see more about World War II. But yeah, we'll check back in a moment. I think this is actually the last thing we're doing today, so this might be a short video. Anyhow, check back in a moment. All right, and we have come back to the bratwurst place where we had lunch and the church, and the whole idea is we want to go to this Christmas market again. We finished up at the documentation of the Nazi rally, I believe it was, museum, and that place was pretty amazing. Like, the amount of detail that they went into the history of the rise of Adolf Hitler, how he came to be from a recruiter to the chancellor, the Führer chancellor of the entire party, how they got rid of all the other parties. The amount of information is like insane. We only had 3 hours there, and that unfortunately was not enough, really. We were there from 3 to 6 and they closed at 6, so here we are back at the church area. That being said, the displays at this church were amazing. The museum were amazing. That there's just so much information, and it ends pretty much with the concentration camps getting liberated by Americans, and they go into detail about everything right up into the liberation. They don't really go how the Americans found them, the first soldiers, anything along those lines. No Band of Brothers stuff, but it was still quite horrifying as well as informational to see how an entire nation could kind of just become evil almost in a sense. And it's not that everything they did was evil, it was just the underlying stuff that was evil. The secretly taking and everybody being okay with pointing out who wasn't a true Aryan nationalist or whatnot, who didn't fall under the true German being, and how they should be kind of swept away. And the Nuremberg trials, being that we are in Nuremberg, that was pretty interesting. We got to see quite a bit of that at the end. So anyhow, let's get on to merrier subjects, going to find some food and hopefully some mulled wine. That'd be great. Haven't really been able to drink this trip yet, so yeah, check back in a moment.
Let's see if this works. As you can see, a lot of kids like to climb on that thing. It's pretty fun and very climbable, admittedly. So the deal is that you spin it 3 times and you make a wish. So I just kind of wish that kid would not kick me, which he did anyways, but whatever. Looks like they're getting ready to close up soon-ish. 7 o'clock.
Okay, and so as you could see, I am actually not in Germany right now. And the thing is I noticed that we didn't finish filming this last night. And so we end up going back to this Christmas market or Oktoberfest market and walked around a little bit, as you could see kind of what like from Lynn was doing. And I went to go get a bratwurst, I believe that's what they're called, at a Nuremberg style bratwurst place, and that was actually fairly good. Before we kind of just went around and got lost in our car to go to Wursthaus Hutton. There we had a beef stew as well as a Vienna Schnitzel and some fries, and there was also this really good potato soup, and it was delicious. That was standoutish. It did take forever though. It's probably why there's just no more footage from the night, because we were there at the restaurant for like 2 hours, and an hour of it was just waiting. I practically finished the beer that I got that I wanted to have with dinner before dinner ever came, so it was just like waters and sodas from there, and we were kind of just wondering what was going on. Mom was getting upset, and I think we just closed out the night kind of just by walking back to the car and then just going back to the hotel, and that's kind of how we end our night here in Nuremberg. And I don't know how many more of these I'm gonna have to do. I hope not too many, so we will see. Anyhow, until the next video.
So we left our parking garage only to end up pretty much in the same spot, so we could have just parked, or left our car. But they're in what appears to be a restaurant row here in Nuremberg, Old Town. Back once we figure stuff out. Peace.